All right, guys, in this video, I'm going to go over the last Chapter 3 review. This is number 3, looking at our 2 lessons on 3.5 and 3.7. So the first lesson, 3.5, was looking at transforming some parent functions that you guys have looked at in your days in algebra class, like Algebra 2. So this one is a quadratic function. So I'm going to first graph in black. I'm going to graph f of x equals x squared. Right, so this is the parent function, which is going to be 0, 0, 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 4, and 3 squared is 9. It has symmetrical points on the other side. This has y-axis symmetry. It's an even function. So this is that parent function for the quadratic, which you guys know the name. This is the parabola. Try my best to get this there. There we go. All right, so that is our parent function, parabola. So now, when I look at how it's being shifted, you'll notice inside the parentheses, you have -1, and then outside the parentheses, you have -1. Now, the way you want to remember this is that inside the parentheses, right, that's going to be our horizontal shift. So horizontal, you're looking inside. Vertical is going to happen outside the parentheses, so you look outside. All right. Now, the key thing is when you're doing the horizontal shift, you've always got to think opposite when you're writing down the horizontal shift as you look inside the parentheses, okay? So that's going to be something that will be a common thing that is missed. Okay, so when I see inside the parentheses, I see -1. So when I think opposite of that, which is +1. So when I think about moving horizontally in a positive direction 1 unit, that would be 1 unit to the right. Okay. Vertically, whatever the sign is, that's going to be as you would think up or down. So when I think about moving negatively in a vertical direction, I'm thinking 1 unit down. All right, so I'm going to graph this new one by moving all of these points 1 unit to the right and 1 unit down. All right, almost there, last one. And there we go. And now we make our parabola. Now, not doing a great job here, but the idea is this should be exactly the same as the one in black. The only difference being the location of these points is different. That's the only thing that should be different. So there we go. All right. So that is how you're going to graph this on the test. On the test, you don't have to do the parent one. You can just graph the one that's been moved 1 unit to the right and 1 unit down. That's fine. It's up to you on how you want to do it. Okay, so here we go with this one. This is an absolute value function. Okay, so I'm going to put down the parent function, which is f of x equals the absolute value of x. So this is that v. All right, there's that. And then the other direction for the rest of the v. Because even though my x values are negative, when you take the absolute value of those negatives, they will be positives. All right, so there it is. That's our parent function for the absolute value. Now again, just like I did before, the same thing applies. When you're thinking about the horizontal shift, we're looking inside, and inside this time it's not the parentheses, it's inside the absolute value symbol. I see +5, so I'm thinking the opposite of +5, which is -5. So moving negatively in a horizontal direction is to the left. So this is 5 units to the left. And then the vertical shift, all right, this is going to be outside. In this case, our absolute value, I see +3. So when I think moving positively in a vertical direction, that would be 3 units up. All right, so now I'm going to move this v 5 units to the left and 3 units up. And then make my v. And that's it. If you want to draw further off the grid, you can, but ultimately it should be the same thing, just in a different location. So be ready for that graphing on the test. All right, our last lesson was about finding inverse functions. I'm going to write down the steps again, how to do this. So step one, we're going to replace, right, see this function notation, f of x. We're going to replace that with y. So y equals x to the 7th power minus 9. Step two is going to be to switch the x and the y. But when you switch the x and the y, make sure that's the only thing you change. So you should notice the 7th exponent, or the 7 that's in an exponent, stays in the same location. All right, step three is to solve for the new y. So I'm going to move this minus 9 to the other side with addition. That gives me x plus 9 equals y to the 7th power. And to get rid of that to the 7th power, I'm going to take the 7th root of both sides. So the whole thing, and I put a little 7 there in the index to show you that this is a 7th root, right? It's not a square root, it's a 7th root. So my inverse is going to be the 7th root of x plus 9. Now, in terms of step 4, the last one, right? If this is a function, you're going to go back to that function notation, which this one is. So it'll be f, and we put this -1 in the power to denote that this is the inverse function of the f of x function. So my answer is the 7th root of x plus 9. So if you look at your choices, you're looking for, this one has subtraction, so it's not that one. All the other ones have addition. This one doesn't have the 7th root, and this one it doesn't have, you'll notice the radical symbol needs to go farther over the 9, so the answer is going to be this first one. Okay, let's do one more. Same process. So step 1 is going to be y equals x minus 4 to the 1/3 power. All right, I'm going to switch x and y, which is x equals y plus 4 to the 1/3 power. So now I need to get rid of this 1/3 power. So the way you want to think of it is we're going to, if you need to think of it like this, right, this is what you guys would have done in algebra 2, right? If you had a number raised to the 1/3 power, that's the same as the cube root of that number. If you want to rewrite it like that, you can, right? I just wanted to show you that because my process here is I want to get rid of that 1/3. So we have to raise it, the whole thing, to a power that when I multiply it by 1/3, I get 1. And it's been a while, but when you do a power to a power, you multiply. So if you make this the reciprocal, and the reciprocal of 1/3 is 3/1, or 3, it's going to get rid of that 1/3 power, right? Those are inverse operations. So this is going to be x cubed, you got to do to both sides, equals y plus 4. Notice there's nothing else besides the y plus 4, because when you cube that 1/3 power, it's going to make to the first power. All right, move the plus 4 to the other side with minus 4. So now I have y equals x cubed minus 4. And this is a function. It is a cubic function. So my inverse function of f is going to be x cubed minus 4. So I'm looking for that for my solution. These both have positive, so not those. And this one here has the correct point at which the cube happens. It's just cubing the x, not the 4 as well. All right, so that's how you do the inverses. Don't forget to practice that on Delta Math, and good luck on your test.